Hello and welcome back to AJM Learn. Today I want to talk to you about customizing the checkout process on your Squarespace site. So I find this to be pretty templatized, not very customizable. So I found a few ways for us to make it a little more user-friendly based on what we're selling and how we want that flow to go. So let's dive in. First, I want to get into some of the just built-in settings in Squarespace. I find that these are kind of under-promoted, so I want to show you all these options that are here. First, let's hop over into settings. I also find that how this is laid out is very confusing. The fact we have settings here, we also have like products and services stuff here, selling tools here. I think they could do a better job, but let's get into it so you can find these things. So go over to selling and then let's start in the cart. So the two things I want to show you here are one, skip the cart page. This I would toggle on only if you are selling a single product. So if you are maybe selling a digital download or like one service or just whatever, there's no option for anyone to add multiple products or multiple quantities or anything like that. Then what this does is, let's go to my fake, this is my little fake site. If someone clicks on, now that I have that toggled on, if they click purchase or add to cart, whatever the button says, it takes them directly to the checkout page. So we're skipping the cart completely. It's just one more step they have to go through for kind of no reason if you're only selling one product. Again, I only suggest toggling this on if you're selling a single product. So I'm going to turn that back off. Next would be the continue shopping link. Now this is really only applicable if you are selling, if you want people to go to the cart page, because this is on the cart page. So let's go there. I'll show you what I mean. So if you get rid of everything in the cart, you'll have this continue shopping button here. So back over to our selling and cart. This defaults naturally to home, so someone would click continue shopping if their cart is empty. I think the home page is a crazy place for that to go unless you just only have a store and all of your products are there. This should go to the store page, maybe a single product page. So change where that continue shopping link goes so that people can get back into the flow of things. Okay, there's of course like a couple, you can turn on light theme, dark theme here. I'm not getting into all the settings. These are just the ones I find to be really helpful for the user flow. So I want to point out. So next, let's go over to checkout settings. So also in the selling tab, you're going to go to checkout. First one I want to talk about is turning off the quantity for services. So I believe this is naturally toggled on, and how this works is, let me get over, I have a couple stores on my site so that I could demo this. So over in your services store, I have these services. I come into here and there's a quantity. I could add multiples, which I find kind of strange. There's not usually a reason to buy multiple of a service. So back over in checkout, what we can do is actually toggle this off so that now it won't show the option for quantity for services. You'll need to refresh for that to take place, but this will automatically apply to any services products that you have. It'll get rid of that quantity field because again, why? We don't need that. Okay, next here, let's get into a custom checkout form. So as you can see, there's multiple other things here, but I wanted to go all the way down here to additional fields. So click into here, and what you'll need to do is just make sure you're enabling custom checkout form. This will probably be unchecked, and then go to edit custom form. So what this does is it adds a form to the checkout process for everyone who gets to the checkout page. So you can add a note. What I do a lot of times, this can be a really good way to say, like, please confirm you agree to terms and conditions. I'll show you more about showing your terms and conditions. This would maybe need to be, I of course need to add one before. So what I like to do it like this, and then you can only have the one option for yes. Delete the one before. Make it required. So it can be something as simple as that, or you agree that digital downloads can't be returned, or whatever you might need to put there. Or if you need to just collect other information from the people, you could add other fields here as well, but we won't get into that. You can go as far as you need. If you need to collect their phone number, whatever, and then save. So how this is going to work now is if someone, so let's say we add this service to the cart, someone goes to check out, they're going to need to, as usual, enter their email, but then that additional form information will come next. So anything you put in that form field will pop up here. All right, so next let's get into store policies, which is kind of related, not related, but can be related to what I was just talking about. So back over in checkout, go down to your store policies right here. So in here, you can put in your return policy, your terms of service, your privacy policy, whichever of these that you need on your store. Maybe you need all of them, and they're going to automatically show on the checkout page. So let's say we only need this. When you get down to your review and purchase, it will show. And right now, like checkout's closed because this isn't my live site. But if you are using that checkout and everything's set up properly, it will show everything that you put in your store policies. They're kind of small at the bottom, so you can always refer to them in that additional forms, refer to the bottom, see the return policy, etc. But this will all show up there. So a great way to have it always at the end of the process. Okay, last, let's go to your checkout style. So also into selling and checkout, I believe this is the very bottom. It's going to kind of take you to a different page. And this is where you can actually style that checkout page. There's nothing too crazy here. But for example, like my whole site is more like dark mode. So if you wanted to kind of play around, show your logo at the top, this is my sandbox site, so I don't have those things loaded in. But you can play around with this to make things a little bit more on brand. Okay, that is all of the kind of built-in cart and checkout settings. But next I do want to get into your customer notifications. So let's go back into selling. Okay, I think the easiest way to get there is to go to products and services, selling tools, customer notifications. Again, this is why I find all of this a little redundant and weird, the navigation of it all. Okay, in your customer notifications, you can edit all of these global email styles. And depending on which ones they are, they'll have different capabilities. Like you might be able to edit the text, or you might be able to add entire sections. So for example, under products and services, your order confirmed email, you can actually edit some of the text, most of the text. I think it'll let you edit in here. And then you can also add sections. Nothing crazy. You can't like build a whole website page here, but you can add images, text, line spacers. So you can edit all of that here to make sure people are getting the information they need. And you can actually toggle over to style and edit your global email styles as well. Again, global, meaning it's going to apply to all of your emails. But you can kind of style these a bit to match your brand a little bit more too. Okay, lastly, let's get into some custom CSS tricks. So these are things just to, again, make that process a little bit more smooth when people are checking out. So one thing I like to do is let's start here, change the shopping cart icon color. So let's get back to our main site here. You're gonna need to go to your custom code and custom CSS. I already had some in here from before. And first, let's change this cart color. Just to make it stand out more, just again, more ways to help the flow. So this first one is changing the color of the actual cart icon. The second one is changing the color of the number. They're just separate bits. So just change this hex code here and that will apply pretty easy. And then next, I do have a piece of CSS that helps you remove that quantity field both on the product page and inside of your cart. I won't demo that for now because we already have this way of removing it, so it's a little less applicable, but if for some reason you wanted to do it with CSS, I do have a full entire tutorial on that, and it's all linked in this original post. Okay, next, changing the shopping cart title text on the cart page. So let's get over here and back to custom CSS. So I'm talking about this text right here. I had a client want to do this one time, and I found that a few people want to. Whatever you want that text to be, I'm not even thinking of a good application here, but if you wanted to, say anything other than shopping cart, like time to check out or whatever you want that to say. Essentially how this works is this first part is hiding the old text, and this is adding the new text in. So you just want to change the text right here within these quote marks, and that's what's going to show up. I chose all caps. It doesn't have to be all caps by any means. And then similarly, you can change the you have nothing in your shopping cart page. So you could keep this shopping cart title changed with that last bit of text we had, or CSS we had. And you could also add this if you wanted. So this is, a lot of people ask to change this because it's just not saying that much. You can even just add something as simple as, you know, you have nothing in your cart, click the button below to keep shopping, just anything you want to add to keep people moving throughout the process. Again, same as before, just change the text between these quotation marks and you'll be good to go. Last thing, this one's just a little bit for fun to keep things on brand, is changing the shopping cart background color. Obviously, this does not look amazing, but it's the color I had loaded in. So this can just help bring a little bit more interest to this page, a little bit more branding if you wanted to do that. Okay, those are all of the ways I have thought about of making the checkout process a little smoother, a little bit more on brand, but let me know if I forgot anything.